And so that's it. America is not white people's land. That's Europe. Well, it is. It is. It absolutely is white people's land. We fought a war over it. And duh, it got conquered. What? Absolutely it is. It's been our land for hundreds of years. Of course. Obviously. It got conquered, yes.
I think, maybe this is controversial, but they have to crush the other side.
That's right. Oh, that's right. 100%.
They have to, because you can do one of two things. You cannot challenge the left.
That's
and
right.
let them do their thing.
And then they're going to just run you over, and eventually when they get power, they're going to crush you.
Or you can utterly confront them and defeat them. And
you destroy them completely. Destroy everything about them. Put the mayors in jail. Put the governors up on the Insurrection Act for sedition. Put all the people that were doing the in front of the detention centers, put them in mandatory prison labor camps. Any of them that are violent, authorize the police officers to respond with violence to them. Immediately, completely shut it down. Bring in the military if you need to. Bring in the National Guard. Do whatever you need to do. Look and find out who's funding this. Take those people, charge them with incitement for terrorism, put them in Guantanamo Bay. Like, I'm talking about scorched earth, Old Testament.
Now, I made a video, I think it was last year, talking about why so many like content creators are terrible people. And I wanted to expand upon that today by specifically focusing on Twitch streamers. And this comes after like TwitchCon. It comes after like loads of streamer drama. Recently, it comes after like allegations of like harassment and abuse at like top streamers. And people just saying, like, what is going wrong with streamers? Like, why do so many seem like terrible people? And in my video about content creators, I said that I think most YouTubers are pretty normal. And I feel like YouTube at least allows you a semblance of balance. And I'm very happy I'm a YouTuber and not a streamer. And sometimes I think to myself, like, I could be a streamer as well. Like, I could make the channel even bigger. I could keep growing just my audience, and I could have like a better connection with my audience. But then I often think to myself, why the fuck would I want to do that? Because the negatives, which we're going to talk about in this video, are so bad. It would just be so bad for me, like mentally. Like, sure, it would probably be good for my like brand, my channel, even my income, maybe sponsorships and stuff like that, which I don't really do. But the cost to my mental health and just all the insane stuff that happens to streamers and what streaming often turns you into as well, I just wouldn't want to do. So I don't really want to focus on anything specific today in terms of like, oh, this drama or this drama. I just want to talk about generally why streamers often turn out to be unhinged. And I think it's one of two things. I think streaming can make you unhinged. And I think being a successful streamer draws in the worst people. And there are going to be some parallels with YouTubers, but I still think there's that barrier on YouTube of not always being online, not always constantly engaging with people in the chat, not like sitting for hours and hours every day where people are watching your every single move. It takes a certain type of someone driven by often bad things to actually want to do that. And it takes a certain someone who is often isolated and disconnected from society, like someone like Asmongold, where you can actually put in the time to be that successful, but at what cost to your sanity? So I want to talk about all of that today, but if you like the video after you've watched it, please leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel as well. If you want to follow me on social media, follow me at the Kavernacle on Blue Sky and on Instagram. And if you want to support my work, please check me out on Patreon and YouTube memberships. So before we start talking about streamers, let me just give you a little insight into how content creation as a full-time job kind of like ruins your brain a little bit. So you have a dystopian element of your income always being plastered in front of you on a screen. So that doesn't feel great. And just like all these metrics telling you, you were bad this month, you were good this month, people hate you now, your growth is really bad, your income is down, your income is up. And how much that fucks with your brain, right? And it's not a good thing, but I don't really see how you can really change the system in that regard. I guess the only way you can make yourself feel better, like I have made myself feel better, is just do it long enough where you realize there are going to be months where views are down, subscribers are down, money is down, and there are going to be months where everything is really good. So when they are really good, enjoy that, because you'll be back in the trenches soon feeling shitty about yourself. And also in terms of like audience reaction, like when you start doing content creation full time, it's really fun to interact with your audience, and the nice comments feel really good. But the more you go on doing content creation full time, you don't care about the nice comments, and you just get annoyed. Like the bad comments don't affect you in the same way. Like they don't like ruin your day, and you don't get dogpiled because you're bigger than, and most people like you rather than hate you. But the hate comments get under your skin and piss you off more, and can really like affect your mood in terms of, I hate being so public. I hate being so visible. I hate everyone having an opinion about me. I hate people misrepresenting me. And I hate communities that seem to have like a hate boner for me for some reason. Not that they would ever say it to my face, but that is the problem, I guess, for being a content creator, is so many people can say so much terrible shit about you behind a screen, and they'll never have to confront you. And they're the types of people who often would never say it to your face, and they just go into their little communities to whip up hatred against you with the goal of driving you insane. And I don't think people realize how content creation can actually drive you insane unless you have been on the receiving end of stuff like that. So that's my experience of a content creator. I do love it, but also I will say, when I view someone like, let's take example in my own niche, like Hassan, for example, right? So we cover very similar stuff. We make, videos on similar stuff. He sits on a chair streaming for like 6 to 8 hours nearly every single day. And what I'm so grateful for is when I'm done recording, that's me off the camera. And although it's annoying to edit videos for hours and hours, and yeah, that affects my mental health because it's so monotonous, it is like a very boring task to do, I'm often very grateful that I don't have people watching me all the time. And as someone who has done live streaming, not that I do it anymore, it's so exhausting in a really weird way, because you guys would think, oh, Kavernacle, if you sat on stream for like 8 hours a day or 4 hours a day, you'd probably be less tired than if you worked a full-time job. And in some ways that's true. I have worked a full-time office job and stuff as well, and it's very tiring. But there's something about streaming that melts your brain. Like every time I do a long stream, whether that be for like an election or something, I have to lay in my bed for like an hour and a half afterwards, and my mind just feels so jumbled. I think it's the combination of dealing with people in real time while knowing everyone is watching your every move, while knowing you have to perform live for the camera at all times for hours, like actual hours, non-stop. And if that was my job, I think I would have to quit YouTube or something. Like, I can't imagine doing that. And that's why I say, with streaming specifically, you either go mad from it, or it only draws in the worst types of people, because I don't understand what mindset you can have to go into like a social media career thinking, I want to be a streamer. There's like multiple different ones you can think of. And again, I fear what that does to someone's mental health and what that does to someone's brain. So even if we take like Hassan, for an example, or any political streamer on the left, you're covering horrible shit all the time. You're reading all these really insane comments and annoying comments. And also, if you're a big channel, like maybe Hassan is, you're dealing with constant harassment and people watching your every single word and move for like the 8 hours you've recorded a day. And how is your brain normal after that? Like, how do you even like function properly? I don't understand. Like, it seems to me he does at least have a normal life, but I just can't imagine what your like how your brain chemistry would be rewired by knowing people are watching you all the time. And not just like 10 people, like 30,000 people on average. So I feel like with all that, you just have to be deranged to want this. And I think maybe over time you become so desensitized to it. But for me, I'm like, I work hard at my YouTube channel, but it's the freedom to switch my brain off. It's the freedom to turn my brain off and edit a video rather than live stream for 4 or 5 hours. It's so much better. I don't want people to be looking at me all the time, and I don't want to like be this fake version of myself for like 8 hours a day. I'm not saying I'm a fake version of myself on camera, but if I was live streaming, you have to be switched on. You can't be yourself. You can't be bored. You can't be like not talking, because then what is the point in streaming? You're not actually going to be doing it as a job, and it's not going to be fun for you. And I feel like that's why so many people have become so lazy in their streaming as well, where they just watch other people's videos and say fucking nothing, because it is fundamentally very tiring to be online all the time. So I spoke about like maybe like the mental side, but now I'm going to talk about the really terrible people. Your Asmongold's, the people who seem to like self-radicalize themselves. So what is the type of person who just makes their whole life like being on camera in front of someone else? Like, who are these people? I think it draws in the worst people. And I feel like there is more streamers who are terrible people than YouTubers. And I think it's because if you become a successful streamer, you have to want it so bad. You have to want it so bad. And it's not a fluke that you become successful, in terms of not saying they are talented, not saying they deserve success. You have to be streaming. You have to be online. Like, you cannot do 1 5-hour stream a week and become successful. You have to be on every single day. You have to be like making it more crazy. You have to be having more shocking opinions. You have to be doing more weird shit. You have to be doing collabs. You have to be treating everything you do on stream as just content. And if you're going outside like the room, outside the chair, you're essentially just thinking all the time, how do I make my own life entertaining for people? How do I get people to like me? How do I get people to follow me? And that's why you get these people who just get more and more insane. Like Asmongold, for example, is a great example of two things, like self-radicalizing yourself through your chat, and also just having more and more insane opinions to fit in, more and more insane opinions to be shocking, more and more insane opinions because you know everyone is listening to you and you want to stay relevant. Obviously, he's an absolutely terrible fucking guy who's making millions off this, but I do believe there is a special type of person you have to be to become this successful on stream. And I feel like it just draws in the psychopaths. And that's why so many streamers are just like terrible people, control freaks, and just the way they even view human interaction, I think, gets completely warped. Because what they think often is human interaction, interacting with a faceless chat, isn't actually human interaction. And also, when that is your human interaction primarily, right? So think about a lot of these people. They don't really leave their homes much in the week. So a lot of their lives are probably go on stream for 8 hours, order takeout, maybe go out on the weekend or something. So their primary human contact is them having all this control and being like the only person speaking in the conversation. So their human contact is chat says something to them, they say something back. And it does not resemble a normal dynamic between any type of humans, because humans don't primarily interact with thousands of people at once, like one person interacting with like 30,000 people in a chat. That doesn't happen. But if you keep interacting with humanity that way, you know how that will warp your perception of relationships, of people. And also fundamentally, I just think that makes you a bad person and makes you selfish, because you're so used to having these dynamics of people where they love you, they're your fans, and they want to hear what you have to say. And you know that when you speak back to them, and you don't even have to think about how you treat them, how you make them feel. You only have to really think about, how do I monetize all my interactions? How do I monetize my life? How do I make my life entertaining? And again, I don't think streaming is for people who are well-adjusted and relatively normal and stuff, because how can you put up with that? And how can you put up with what that does to your brain and be okay with it? It's just so dystopian. And then you have to think about like the harassment. You have to think about these people just being online all the time, people just watching them all the time, and how that makes them like absolutely fucking crazy. And I fear for streamers' mental health generally, like even the ones who are perfectly normal and they aren't exhibiting the negative qualities I'm talking about, because especially the just chatting genre, not like playing video games or something like that, I just think that sort of interaction is just so harmful for your brain, on top of all the other shit I said about content creation. Because content creation is hard mentally. It's hard to deal with all the things to do with it. It's hard to deal with having your worth attached to like views, which you don't even know how it works. Like, you don't know how your content gets viewed, or why this video is popular, why this video isn't popular. You have all that other shit, and then you could also have like thousands and thousands of people watching your every move, and it does start to resemble something like Black Mirror. And I think about that when I see Hassan, and there's this subreddit called Livestream Fails, which seems to be run by like mainly Destiny fans, and they basically comb through every single thing he says, and then they clip the clips and they put it on Livestream Fails, and all the comments they're not even really about the clip. They're just like, I hate Hassan, blah, 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 blah. And they do this for lots of other streamers associated with Hassan. There's one called Valkyrie. There's one called like Pokemon and stuff. And you always see them just have such a hate boner for these people. And I just think that's really insane. Firstly, that so many people even care what these people say when they're speaking 8 hours every single day, but how much these streamers are aware that they have tens of thousands of people who watch them who love them, and also thousands more who watch them and fucking hate them. And again, you're broadcasting so much of your life and you're sharing so much of yourself with the internet. Just think that if you're someone who does this, there has to be something fundamentally wrong with you. And I'm not saying that like in a really serious way. I'm not saying all these streamers are like really terrible people. But from my own perspective, like what I would say is, don't you want to live your life? And at the very least, don't you want to shut your brain off? And why do you want to be on stream every single day for like 8 or 9 hours a day? And I think fundamentally, on the human connection thing, to kind of end it, a lot of these streamers just don't have anything else in their life, right? And they've replaced their whole social network, not in terms of online social networks, but just like social network in the real world, they've replaced it with streaming. Because when you're putting that many hours into something that is such a solitary hobby and maybe then job, you're gonna have to forsake lots of your real world connections. So while the streamer often becomes a comfort, like fake friend for so many people who watch them, the streamer starts to rely on these people as well because they don't have anything outside of this. Like, why do these streamers broadcast themselves all the time? Probably because a lot of them are really lonely, and they've become lonely because they've pursued this career so much, and they've pursued a career which needs you to be online as much as possible. And if you want to remain like relevant and have your standing and have your income, you need to remain online. And I just think, as someone who has streamed myself and who like really doesn't want to do that full time, I just don't understand how people go through with it. And you guys might think I'm a hypocrite and stuff, but I don't think I am, because this is so much easier because I'm recording myself. It says 17 minutes now on the recording. So 17 minutes, spend like 3 or 4 hours editing thumbnails, all that good stuff. And then I'm done, and then I can live my life, and my brain can think about something else. I'm not thinking about being perceived 24/7 basically, and having people comb over footage of me just talking random shit with a chat. I just think it's so much better for your mental health. And I still don't think being a YouTuber is good for your mental health, but I think streamers are next level. And I think it's multiple things. I think it draws in the worst people. I think to succeed as a streamer, more often than not, you have to be a terrible person. You have to exhibit qualities in terms of like either laziness, stealing people's work, a lack of empathy, and just generally being antisocial and not living in the real world, and replacing human connection with a faceless chat, which you get all your validation from. And in turn, I think affects how you actually have human relationships with people, where most of your human contact is in this dynamic, which massively favors you, but I also think alters how you even view the world, right? So I would say, if I was a streamer right now and I was successful, I would massively like scale back. And I will say there are good streamers, there are good music streamers I've watched, like DJs and people who play in bands, and it's very like curated. It's like they'll do 2 streams a week, which are like 3 hours long, and once they're done playing, they'll stop. I think that's so much better for you. But the rise of these streamers, the just chatting streamers who just watch YouTube videos all the time, I know it's easy money for a lot of them, but again, at what cost? I would rather watch a more planned stream, and I think it would be better for a lot of their mental health if they're like, I'm going to do 3 hours, which I plan, and then I log off, rather than I'm going to do 8 or 9 or 10 hours just reacting to loads of garbage. But I think a lot of these people just become so addicted to the attention as well that they couldn't imagine ever scaling back. So that is just my little one take video on streamers and streamers being bad people from the perspective of someone who makes YouTube videos who wouldn't ever want to be a full-time streamer. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching.